All right, on the dot. Hello, everyone, and Ramadan Kareem to each and every one of you, to all our audience here joining us tonight. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. This is your host, Toastmaster Maram Al-Aradi, and welcome back to our YAT podcast contest series. And for the benefit of everyone here, or for those who are joining us for the first time, the purpose of this podcast series is to take a closer look at each contest category and listen from the young adult Toastmasters experts who have benefited from their Toastmasters journey and would like to share their personal tips about the contests. So for tonight, our third episode, we'll talk about the table topic speeches. And this type of speech is actually aimed to develop the spontaneous speaking skills. And tonight, we are honored to have a YAT table topic queen. She is affiliated with Toastmasters for almost 4 years right now, and she has served as the club secretary, vice president membership, and currently serving as the vice president of education. She is a level 3 leadership development achiever who has participated in several contests in different levels on club and area, in the evaluation, international, and of course the table topic speeches. She has a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering and was awarded Distinguished Senior Project for the batch 2019. An occupational health and safety officer by profession. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Sara Taher.
Thank you so much, my fellow member Toastmaster Maram Al-Aradi, for this very wonderful, full of achievements introduction by yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us, Toastmaster Sara Taher.
Sure.
To be honest, I was maybe one of the few members who were there from the beginning where you joined the club. But for the benefit of our audience here, please tell us, how did you join Toastmasters and the young adult Toastmasters in particular, and what was the reason for you joining?
Sure. This is actually a very huge story, but I'll try to squeeze it and make it short. So how I got introduced to Toastmaster, it was through a workshop back in university. And I remember the workshop was delivered by BEST, our other neighboring club, I would say. And I remember that we attended this session. It was mainly about how to give a presentation, since we were struggling back in university with our presentation skills. And I remember this session was delivered by Toastmaster Mary at that point. And I hope someone is here to deliver to her all our greetings of tonight. And I was very much impressed by the way she was delivering, by the way she was building the topic and putting it all together. And I was thinking how she developed this skill. And obviously I didn't approach her to ask, but luckily at the end of the session, she shared with us regarding the open house that the area was having at that time. And I became more interested in that, where I attended the open house. And in the open house, to make it more interesting, I met DTM Mohammed Shukri, our local Toastmaster champion internationally. And that was such a wonderful meeting, a wonderful time to have him on the stage and hear him speaking. And then I became more passionate about that. Then post this session, I had also a one-on-one chat with him where he really encouraged me to join the Toastmasters. And it was very much wonderful from Toastmaster Mary that she wasn't at all selfish about it. And she was very much open to direct me to young adult Toastmaster. And instead of her own club, she sat with me and we had a chat and she said, hey, I feel like you belong to young adult Toastmasters and maybe you can relate to them more. And then I met DTM Khalid Ismail and Toastmaster Najla Kamber, and at that time Madam Secretary was Toastmaster Susie. Then little by little I was introduced to the club and all the other members as well.
That's a wonderful story, but you still have not told us why have you joined Toastmasters in particular?
Yeah, so as I said, I was very much passionate and inspired by the way Toastmaster Mary and DTM Mohammed Shukri were speaking. And I felt like this is the areas that we all need to improve on, which is communication. This is our only way or the main way we communicate with people other than texting or physical communication. And I was like, if we don't build this very much well, then we are failing to deliver our messages to each other. And that is, I would say, the ultimate reason why I joined the Toastmasters International.
That's a beautiful answer. Of course, we always need to improve ourselves, whether it is professionally or personally. So, Toastmaster Sara, with your 4 years of experience in Toastmasters and completing level 3, serving in multiple officer positions such as the Secretary, VPM, and VPE, how have Toastmasters and YAT in particular helped you professionally and personally?
Well, that is really a challenging experience it was. First of all, YAT itself being a club that has been really welcoming to myself and people from my age at that time. I was around 19 to 20 years old back then. And for me to be young, I was really worried that what if these people are really good to the extent that I don't belong to them or I cannot blend with them. However, surprisingly for me, everyone was open-minded, everyone was welcoming and supportive. That's one thing. Now, the second thing when it comes to personal and professional life, now, for me, it is really important to develop the skill of communication. That's first thing. And the type of job I'm practicing forced me and pushed me to talk to people more than sit in the office and type things. So serving roles in the club such as secretary, VPE, and VPM pushed me to, by force almost, talk to these people and extract information out of them. And that literally impacted my professional life and my personal career in my job, because I practice a job that not only I need to communicate, but also I need to convince and deliver such training sometimes as well. And for sure, the XCOM role's been challenging, but how I like to think about it is that whatever challenged you mold you into a better version of yourself. And molding is not easy. I mean, coming from an engineering background, we know changing a state of something to something else requires so much heat and pressure. And if that's what needed for me to be a better person, then I'm up for it.
That's a wonderful answer. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Taher. Yes, I do agree that because of the nature of your occupation, which is the health and safety officer, you have to convince the workers that whatever practice they're doing are wrong. You have to educate them, and also convince them to go to the other alternatives or
True.
safer alternatives. So
True,
yes,
yeah.
are very important as well. So coming to the topic of our episode tonight, which is impromptu speaking skills, they are extremely essential nowadays. And the table topic speeches actually cater developing such skills. So from your point of view, how do you perceive table topics, whether in meetings or in contests?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to table topics, to be honest, personally, it's my favorite session. I know some people have a different point of view of that, oh, I'm on the spot, I don't know how to behave or what to say. However, for me, I see it from different perspective. Because always, no matter what, when you give a topic to someone, they're going to surprise you. Because you will never predict what this person will say. And for me, table topics bring out the best out of us because you are able to read the first thing that comes to someone's mind. So for me, to witness the table topic session is so interesting. I like to listen to people. I like to link what comes to my mind to what they are going to say on the floor itself. That's one thing. Second thing, I also like being the table topic master because I be like, I wonder what this person going to say. And then I do this thing where I match the topics to people who I want them to talk about it, which is so fun because you get your answers with that. And last thing about table topic, that it represents real life scenarios because we communicate to people every day and you never can predict what they're going to ask you or at what moment you will be on spot. So I feel like table topics really resonates with real life, and that's one thing about it that really attracts me.
I 100% agree with you. I think the more you do table topics, the more you are ready to face unlikely situations or awkward situations or
yes,
being kept on the spot, let us say.
Definitely.
So there are methods of answering table topics. Many times it depends on the topic itself or the question being asked. So we have the prep method, we have the pros and cons, we have a point and story or a solution, and we have sometimes a social issue that you need to relate to. So for you, Toastmaster Sara, we would like to know, what is your go-to method?
So I would say, first of all, when I hear the topic, I try to link this topic to myself. not only as a point of view, but as well as stories, because people do connect on stories faster on random informative topics, I can say. So my first idea on mind, how does this topic or quote or question relates to my personal experiences in life? So that's my go-to move. Now, if I feel like the topic is more generic and I don't have a relationship with it, then I go to the idea of pros and cons. That's the second thing. Now, the third approach, which is, I would say, the majority's go-to, is where you give your general opinion about what you think regarding something. However, the only disadvantage of this technique is that you might limit yourself, because sometimes giving your opinion about something can be just one sentence. So you really need to like question yourself within and bring up all the aspects of the topic on the floor. However, my go-to recommended move, which I feel like it is attainable by everyone, is relating it to your own personal life experiences and coming with a story or like a moral topic that you want people to get out of you.
Yes, of course, the personal stories always add a touch to any speech, but because whenever someone listens that this person has experienced that personally, they immediately clicks, and people might forget the message, but they will always remember the story, and from the story, they will remember the message.
Definitely.
So, Toastmaster Sara, a meeting environment is a lot different than a contest environment, because in the club, you already know the faces, they're familiar, and the topics are usually, let's just say, chill. But with contests, we have a lot of new faces. There are judges, there are people that you don't know, and sometimes topics can be a bit difficult or different than the ones that are in the club. So how do you control your nervousness and fear before you go to the stage or before you go on stage?
Yeah, I feel like this is a very personal question to me, because I really have my own perspective on that. Now, when it comes to contests, or even when I step out to other clubs where I have to practice table topics, how I like to overcome my stress is to think that the ultimate goal for me to go on the stage is to bring out the best out of it and enjoy. That's my ultimate goal. I don't take into consideration very hardcore that there are judges who are evaluating every single thing I do. What I like to think about is that I am standing on the stage. I have at least 30 plus people looking at me from different nationalities, gender, age, and they don't care about that. They give me 2 minutes of their day for me to deliver something to them that might leave an impact. So the ultimate goal I think about, even if only 1 out of 30 people in this hall leave this place with an extra information, for me it's a win. So no matter what eventually the judges will come with, my ultimate goal is to deliver something that I from heart wanted to reach to someone else. Now, I'm not saying ignore the judges and act as if they don't there. No, of course do consider that, because once you put your enjoyment out there and the quality of the thing that you want to deliver to someone who can take it with them home, you will start bringing the best of your best on the stage. That will reflect on the judging criteria eventually. So when you leave the stage, it's gonna be one of the 2 scenarios. Number 1, either the judging criteria will be so satisfying to you and you're gonna win. Number 2, even if this judging criteria did not make you win, you are glad that you delivered something that might be benefit for others.
That is true words of wisdom, as I know you, Toastmaster Sara Taher. That is beautifully said. Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
So let us say that even though the goal of the table topics is to develop impromptu speaking skills, or let us say spontaneous speaking skills, it actually more preparation than one might think. So how do you, Toastmaster Sara Taher, prepare for the table topic speeches, or especially during the contest season?
Yeah, so I would say the ultimate and normal and everyone line is practice. Now, I'm not saying practice as in like, oh, within 2 days of the contest, start reading topics and practice talking about them. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you're coming to the club every month, twice or even more, and you're receiving all these evaluation, all these instructions. You need to put whatever you're learning in Toastmaster in real life. It's exactly like a muscle. It's like working out. If you are eating well, if you are taking the best supplements, but you're not putting this muscle into work, then it's not going to develop. The same thing with the music. That one's for Toastmaster Mustafa. You can buy the most expensive guitar and you can have your classes once a week. But if you're not going to go back home and practice how to play, you will never be able to play the guitar. So I feel like the same thing with public speaking, especially table topics. You're learning everything in the club. When you go outside to your work, to your family, to outdoor activities, you need to step out your comfort zone and speak, because only then you will receive questions, point of views, channeling conversations that will force you to give your opinion about. And this will eventually, ultimately prepare you to table topic sessions, because table topic session is impromptu speaking activity. So if you're not practicing this already by nature, it will be challenging for you, whether it's a contest or not. That is one thing. Second thing, I highly recommend being the table topic master, because when you select these topics, you naturally start to think, if I was the speaker, how will I tackle this topic? Or what will the person say? No, this is an easy topic. This is a difficult topic. So being a table topic master also gives you the opportunity to think about the topics and think about how to tackle them if they were subjected to you, which will be very helpful for contests as well.
I absolutely agree with you. You do make a really good point. So yes, you have to practice. That's what I keep saying, whether it is table topics or anything that you actually do with speeches. Practice, practice, practice. So yes, attending the club meetings, trying to challenge yourself with the questions, even though you're not the one who is being asked, doing it offline, and as well as being the table master, of course. So, Toastmaster Sara, during your Toastmasters journey, in meetings, whether in meetings or contests, what was the most interesting topic you ever had to answer, and why?
Okay. For that, I will say regarding a topic or an incident that involved me. It wasn't subjected to me, but I was witnessing this table topic session where the topic was, how was your day? That's it. As simple as this. And it left me with two feelings. It is so simple, yet also challenging, because it makes me think, how am I supposed to answer? Am I really supposed to say, I woke up, I ate, I did 1, 2, 3, 4? Or am I supposed to say, well, I feel like I could have done better today. Maybe I witnessed some real life problem or crisis today, and I should be very vulnerable in front of the audience. So it was really a challenging topic, despite it being very simple. And it left me with so many thoughts, and it also attracted us as audience to literally listen to each thing the contestants were saying, and it grabbed our attention because we all became like, okay, I would like to know how this person gonna answer this. So for me, how was your day was one of the very much challenging yet very simple table topics that I heard in my entire Toastmaster journey.
I do agree with you, Toastmaster Sara Taher. It was a simple question, but then when you are kept on the spot, and especially in the contest, you will be a bit baffled of how you're supposed to answer the question.
True.
Well, this was a simple question, but in some cases, the given topic could be difficult or not fully understood, and one can try to come up with an answer or try to understand at least partially the topic partially. Have you ever had a similar experience where you could not fully understand the question, and how did you tackle it?
Yeah, I would say the number one trick is repeating the topic given to you. That is your key if you feel like you're slightly lost, because it's either going to give you one of the two. Number one, you are confirming the topic. So it will allow you to, digest it more, understand it. It might give you a little bit more percentage of understanding of the topic, or you might have understood the topic wrong. So this will give a chance for the table topic master to correct you, especially if it's in a club where things are slightly more chill than in a contest. The table topic master will try to adjust the understanding for you. However, let's say despite using this trick, you are still slightly not 100% aware of the topic. What is my go-to move is to at least understand it partially, or like if it's a code, understand the first half of the code, or if it's a question, try to sum up in a simple words. So my go-to move is to eventually take some words of this code or question giving asked to me and evolve it into a topic that I can deliver it to the audience.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Toastmaster Sara Taher. At the end of the day, we have to try and answer something. So whatever we can come up with the question, whatever we can come up with the answer and relate it to a personal story, that would trick, I would say, because at the end, staying on the topic has a small percentage of the judging criteria, but it's not as long
Yes.
as long as you deliver a full speech with an introduction, body, and conclusion, and with a message that can or that may or may not be 100% the topic, still achieving the topic question.
True, yeah.
So we have reached the end of our podcast, and we will now open the question and answer session from our audience, starting from distinguished Toastmaster Khalid. His question is, what would be your one special advice to our fellow Toastmasters from your journey so far?
I would say it is quite very much interesting. And if you reach to the level that you feel like it's no longer challenging you, know that you are not putting the maximum in it, because there are so many aspects in the club and outside the club that you can experience. The ultimate goal of Toastmaster is not only to teach you how to speak. You get into conversations, you get into conflicts sometimes, you get into so many scenarios that it tests you and teach you how to deal in such circumstances in real life. So if you have this area, or you have this international organization that is willing to mold or to polish your skills, then why not going for that? Like you can, instead of member, you can be an ex-com member. Instead of the member, you can move to area, district. So there are so many parts of Toastmasters that can challenge you. So you need to pick your battles, I can say, and take these skills to real life. So do not look at it as only communication skills or only leadership skills, because for me, and out of experience, I can tell you it is literally more than that.
I will actually have to 100,000,000% agree with you, because we're not supposed to join Toastmasters to be good at Toastmasters. At the end of the day, we're joining Toastmasters to become better versions of ourselves, so that we can use the content that we have learned in Toastmasters in our daily lives. I think these are the only questions that I have received so far. Do we have any further questions from the audience related to the table topics? Why don't you organize a table topic work? We have to discuss this in the XCOM club, I would say, and see if we can it's within this.
Yeah, sure.
Madam VPE.
Okay.
Do we have any further questions from our fellow audience? There we go. We have one question, I think, from distinguished Toastmaster Khalid Ismail. He says, most people think when it comes to interpreting something positive or negative, people think it always has to be positive. Is it okay for it to be negative?
Yes, this is also a common misunderstanding, I would say, even in table topics and evaluation. You do not always have to say, that's a great topic, or I agree with that. It is completely fine and normal to channel your opinion, as long as you're doing it in a very respectful manner and you're doing it without underestimating or disrespecting anyone or the topic itself. Then you should be feeling and having enough freedom to express your opinion. I, as a person in Toastmaster, I would love to receive more realistic evaluations, and because this is what will help me improve. If we are always going to be like, that's good, that's great, that's wonderful, then how are we going to evolve eventually? The same thing with the topics. Sometimes if you feel like you disagree with a topic, or you feel like you cannot relate to it, it's absolutely fine to channel your voice. That allows you and gives you the opportunity to, even in outside real life, if there is something you don't like it, then you should then forcefully like it. You can say, well, I respect that, I like that, I don't agree on it because of 1, 2, 3, 4. But that doesn't mean that everyone should agree with my opinion, or I should agree with everyone's opinion. So I feel like this is a good point to highlight in all the meetings, that this will help you in real life. Because in real life, boo-boo, not everyone gonna like clapping for you over there. Not everyone gonna be just using nice words with you. Real word is sometimes harsh. So we need to prepare you for that.
You're just saying facts, Toastmaster Sara Taher. I just love the way you put words together. It's always mic drop moments. Thank you so much for that wonderful.
Sure.
We have another question, and I would like to keep this anonymous. The Toastmaster asked this question says, what advice to do if we sadly forget the topic mid-speech?
Forgetting the topic completely, we're asking, right?
Yes. But when you are delivering your speech, let us say that you're collecting your thoughts, you know what to say, and you have began the table topic,
Mm-hmm.
and midway, you forgot what is the actual topic.
Then the only thing you can do is that, as Celine Dion said, go on, because you cannot stop over there. You cannot. I mean, as you already said, Toastmaster Maram, that if it's being evaluated or like it's a contest, the topic itself has a fraction of the overall mark. And there are so many other marks for your performance on the stage, your body gesture, your topic, meeting the time, and all that. So do not make a big, huge deal out of forgetting it. I would say whatever ideas you collected, put them in a nicely well-structured manner and stick to them and deliver them. No one will be like, oh, you failed because you didn't speak about the topic exactly. People will be more concerned about your performance on the stage, your confidence level, your usage of the word, your grammar and everything. So I don't think you need to take it really to the core that you really forgot something. So do not let it stress you out on the stage.
Yes, to be more relaxed and let us say stress-free, or try to have a less stressful mentality, as you said. So not to be considered of the judges, not to be considered of the time, the judging criteria, but just more of the show must go on, and
Yes.
whatever comes in your mind, you just have to say it or complete the message that you want to say, for example, during your story or the idea or the point that you're trying to explain.
Definitely.
So do you have questions? If not, then we might end the podcast in a few minutes. Contact worker are enough?
For me, I would say there is always room for improvements. Always, no matter how much someone is trained, how much someone is well educated, there is always areas to improve on. Especially we live in a world that things evolve really fast and point of views change, and we can improve not only our judges but our contest, the entire thing. And for you to elevate the contest, of course, you need to elevate the infrastructure of that as well. So I would say definitely we can always invest and take a look at the trainings that need to be delivered to the judges. And there will never be a time that we can say, okay, we are done with the training. No, never ever. Even in our personal life, we are always pushed into being trained and learning more. If you reach to a certain point in life or in education, that doesn't mean you cannot learn enough. That's how you see medical sector is. They keep on studying because technology change, new diseases coming out, and etc. So the same thing applies to every other sector. That there is always areas to like improve yourself, and actually it will be more encouraged to do that as well, because you never know, someone might be new, someone might be having a misunderstanding. So it's always good to like refresh everybody's mind on what are the basics of the evaluation and judging criteria as well.
Of course, I think the trainings, the have say a unique way of delivering instead of the normal, so that people can actually attend, can actually grasp the information that is being delivered, and this information sticks to their mind on the long run. Then when it isn't other yourself tackle the topic.
I apologize, Toastmaster Maram. Your voice is being cut off every now and then.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, can you please repeat the topic?
The question is there a personal habit or a trick for yourself to tackle table topics?
Yeah, this is, as I mentioned earlier, my favorite go-to move is to relate to real life story, to relate to personal experience, to bring it back to myself first so I can link with my audience. That is my go-to move. Second go-to move is to like pros and cons of the topic. However, my favorite, as I mentioned, is that I will try to do my best to leave my audience with a message or with a note that will always make them remember, because I really appreciate people who spend time listening to others and people who come to our meetings, whether they are guests or members. Some of them are way older than me, well educated than me. They have enough experience in life, more than me. So for them to be sitting there and giving their attention to me, I would rather take this time to deliver something that will remind them of myself or will leave an impact on their life. And I will say this is my favorite trick and my ultimate goal out of not only table topics but the entire Toastmaster. Whenever I'm on the stage giving a speech or a table topic, I will try my ultimate goal to leave an impact on someone eventually.
And impact you have made all the young adult Toastmasters has heard. I think we will conclude our podcast for tonight. Thank you so much for joining the third episode of Masters, where we have that in topics contest you have to actively participate in club meetings, especially what the others are. Try to link between whatever the other be master. That will also help you choose the other question. That's another practice for you. Whenever you tackle table topics, the best way is to try to relate to the topic to yourself, to a personal story or a social story. This audience can connect with you. The other recommendation is to always get the pros and cons of the topic, if it is applicable. First, always have a positive mentality to tackle tabletop questions, because the aim of this contest is to improve on the outside of Toastmasters. So whether you answer the question with a story or something that is not related to the topic, just relax, continue, let your thoughts, your train of the story that you want to say it, just finish it off with a real speech, introduction, body, and conclusion. That is the most important thing. It's more important than staying on the topic itself. And whenever you can. Thank you so much, Sara Taher, for
Thank you so much.
gracing us with your today and all the valuable information that you have given us. And everyone who has joined us for this podcast, thank you so much for joining, making this a successful session. Please tune to our final episode this coming where we will tackle the final category of the speech contest, which is the humorous contest, with the one and only distinguished Toastmaster Khalid Ismail. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Lovely.